First at 5, day 4 in the jury selection process in the Dr. Teresa Seavers murder case. We've got a live look inside the courtroom here. This is one of the defendants, Jimmy Rodgers. He's accused of carrying out that brutal murder for hire, killing her with a hammer. Thanks for joining us at 5. I'm Patrick Nolan, along with my co-anchor Jane Monreal in downtown Fort Myers at the Lee County Courthouse with more on today's events. Jane?
Patrick, we have seen nearly 200 potential jurors come through the courthouse this past week. Yesterday, that started that second phase of questioning, which really is expected to last through part of next week. And the second phase of questioning, of course, gets more in depth with how potential jurors feel about the death penalty, of course, having someone's life in their hands. And they've been causing some of the jurors to have some anxiety about serving. So let's bring in four in your corners. Sandra Rodriguez, she has been in the courtroom since the very beginning. Sandra, before we get to matters on the jury, I want to touch on something else. We did hear that an expert witness was attacked?
Yeah, so right when court started, the defense mentioned how last night she had become aware that one of their expert witnesses had brutally attacked. Now, they did not give much information besides that, but they did say that they're hoping that that person, whoever it is, will be able to go back to work by next week.
All right, let's hear about that.
So I just want to put that on the record. I will see what the records today. The office is working on that. Hopefully he's on the mend.
All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the jurors then. We do know yesterday some potential jurors were excused because of the anxiety that they were feeling. How has it been like today?
Same, still anxiety is among them. The very first juror to be questioned said that she does suffer from anxiety and she is on medication. She got very emotional while in court and the judge excused her right there and then. And then there was another juror who, when asked if this is a moral or a religious thing for him, he said that it's not a moral or religious, but that he does come from another country where capital punishment is not a thing. So it doesn't necessarily mean that he can't participate, but it's just hard for him to have to make this decision now that he's retired here. And it goes back to yesterday, where another juror from a different state where they don't have capital punishment said the same thing, that they could still serve, they could still follow the law, but it's still hard for them, especially so far down now that they're retired.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's what you know growing up and having to retire, and this being Southwest Florida,
yes.
There are a lot of people that are coming and going and having to deal with a different set of laws. So the reaction when this was happening on Jimmy Rodgers, you notice anything different today?
Well, as the jurors were answering the questions that were being asked of them, he kept a very quiet demeanor, but there were certain occasions when he would look over at his defense attorney or his defense attorney would talk to him and he would just smile or maybe a quick laugh, but nothing too major. It just seemed like they were talking amongst themselves.
Okay, all right. So how many jurors are we down to now?
Well, yesterday we started with 59. Today we started, all 15 of the ones who were questioned yesterday are asked to return next week for the third phase of questioning. Today we started with 19 minus 2 that got excused.
Okay, right.
So now we're looking at what is like a little more than 30 now.
All right, still looking at about 30. And then real quick, what will the third phase of questioning be like? Because that will be what we're going to expect next week.
Well, they're looking to be asked some more in-depth questions about them, about where their stance is with the justice system, how they view authority, police officers, those types of questions I've heard.
All right, thank you very much, Sandra. So we're going to hear more from you at 6, but coming up first at 5:30, we're going to have our legal expert, Pam C., a professor at FGCU. She's going to weigh in on a few things that have been going on inside the courtroom as well, that this is happening during the jury selection process. And this trial could take weeks before it's over. Fox 4 will be there in the courtroom with Sandra, as well as us live outside the courthouse when we recap the day's events, so you can keep up with the entire trial on our website. That's fox4now.com, as well as the Fox 4 News app. We'll also have a debrief with Sandra on Facebook tonight that will be following our